Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another live stream of Hearthstone. So, we spent a lot of last recording covering the games that will be played on Extra Life speedruns. I believe that they were Extra Life speedruns. Mostly from my own personal knowledge. Today is Friday, November 3rd, and we are on the European server. I have a Challenge a Friend on the American server, so if anybody hops on and wants to play me, that's great. I need to play 10 secrets and win 5 Tavern Balls. It's Friday, so for 2 different reasons then I need to be done with this. So let's delete this Tavern Brawl and make a new one with the Hunter. And then get as many secrets as we can play. All the creatures become 1/1 versions of each other. So that's not a lot to begin with. And we don't really have anything else secret wise that works, so let's start with our most important guy, which is this, and then we need beasts to do something. That will be good. That'll be good. This buff will be good. That'll be good. That'll be good. Take a couple spells. We'll take that. We'll take that. Let's see. Take that. Take that. That. Take that. Take that. Alright, that shouldn't be too bad of a thing to play, as we're trying to get 5 Tavern Balls for victories, which is not what we want ever as a daily quest. I mean, I can practically guarantee even now I'm going to just bang my head against trying to get 5 Tavern Balls for the next 45 minutes. Moving back to video game news, there's a game called Project Nimbus code Mirai, M-I-R-A-I, Protect a City. Let's watch this trailer and see what it looks like. To me, it's striking me as a maybe mecha game, or maybe a like bullet hell shooter game. No, it's a mecha game. Probably shouldn't have played that, because just play the coin and destroy it. That's exactly what I thought would happen. So yes, it is just a mecha game. It's coming to the PlayStation 4 this fall in Japan and early 2018 to the rest of the world. I can't inherently be upset with a mecha game though, because it does the world probably could do to have 1 or 2 mecha games come out every year and just slowly improve on that. I know they're not very popular outside of Japan, and frankly I don't even think they're super popular these days inside of Japan, but yeah, it's not a series or a genre of games I want to see completely die. Like, I think that at some point the there will be some good mecha games out there, and there very possibly already are, and I just don't know about them. Here's an article talking about the Half-Life remake Black Mesa, which honestly Black Mesa is not worth talking about at all until it's finished, because that's all I really care about. It is it finished or is it not finished? Let's see.
Such easy sport.
So we'll go forward. The director of a game called Opuna, O-P-O-O-N-A, teases a wonderful announcement in its 10th anniversary tweet. What is this game, Opuna? Opuna was released to Japan, to the Wii in Japan on November 1st, 2007. It was published by Koei, now Koei Tecmo, and developed by Arte Plaza. Opuna, the character, appeared in this year's Warriors All-Stars for PlayStation 4, PS Vita, and PC as a playable character. So it seems like this 10-year-old game that never came out to the West, very possibly may never come out to the West again, but it's gonna get a re-release maybe in Japan. And all I have is a screenshot of the characters of this game, and it looks weird, certainly. Or maybe they're making a new game instead of a remake. Like, and this is really a great example, and this is a Gematsu article. It's just a really great example of the large amount of games that were Japanese only that were released, that if they just came over to the West, would get some small niche interest at least. It would be better than all the RPG Maker games and Unity asset flips that show up on Steam at least. Like, could we just drown out the worser games with some of the bad Japanese only games? Just drown out the visual novels, the bad visual novels. Apparently it was a lifestyle RPG. That's all they're explaining as far as what it is.
Amazing.
Whenever this one attacks, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. And then the rest of these And see, I've never even heard of this game, and I thought I was pretty well in the know. Again, I must report on Randy Pitchford, and I always hate when I have to do this. He is apparently now decided to make a podcast, and I'm gonna editorize here a little bit and give an opinion instead of just hard facts, and say he must have completely lost his mind if he thinks anybody likes him. And that people are going to listen to his podcast. Like, I could see reporters listening to it just to hear what kind of garbage he says, but that's kind of it. Like, there's not a lot of hope. It's going to broadcast live on Sundays at 2:30 Pacific Time, 5:30 Eastern Time. Twitch.tv/Nerdvania Alive. Nerdvania Live. Nerdvania, by the way, is his wife's restaurant that he is promoting, potentially having his employees of Gearbox have business meetings at. And he is certainly promoting it, I think, at least a couple times from the Gearbox Twitter, not his own personal Twitter. And he certainly has never bothered to disclose any of this at all. So, if the Federal Trade Commission wanted to do their job, they really need to investigate him and find him, because he is not disclosing anything at all. On the other hand, bigger picture, because I doubt the FTC will do anything, not anytime soon, at least not with the people in charge of it. He needs to be fired from Gearbox, and it would probably do a lot. I don't know if anybody has enough stocks or shares in the company to actually do that. He may just have such a controlling interest that he can do whatever he wants, but he's not interested in running the company. Just inherently, he's not interested in running the company. Like, he runs around and still does magic stuff because he was a magician, which it's really stupid to hire a magician as a CEO, because magicians inherently have no strong grasp of the truth anyways. They're lying as their career, and like, but yeah, he's running around doing magic stuff. He's running around promoting Norvania. He's running around taking interviews and saying things in interviews that aren't helpful. He takes more interviews than most CEOs of any video game company. He's not really interested, we've seen, or at least he claims not to be interested or pay attention to what their new publishing division does. So he's way too hands off for that. Honestly, that shouldn't be the case. He's not really leading the team to bring out Borderlands 3 anytime soon. I mean, even if Randy Pitchford as a person was just a figurehead and actually had no power in the company, he's a bad figurehead, and I see no reason why you would want him in your as your figurehead. Find some other person who can do the job a little bit better and know what to say and when to say it and when to shut up. Like, and I suppose I can predict here, since Desert Bus I think is pretty much done now, there's probably going to be at least a few articles of controversy when Desert Bus gets released, which actually Desert Bus is part of a Penn and Teller game. It'll be almost certainly released by Gearbox. There will probably be some articles of controversy because Randy Pitchford has already said that 90% of the team are working on what people want, what he thinks people want them to be working on, which the implication there is Borderlands 3. So, if anything whatsoever gets announced before Borderlands 3, then there's going to be some confusion and upsetness. Almost certainly. Let's take a step back and not editorialize. Like, I don't even know Randy Pitchford, and I kind of hate him. Like, I just have to objectively look at his actions and follow his Twitter and know that it's not just some video game journalist things. And there, I'm sure, will be people who will defend him because they love Borderlands. And I think that's definitely the wrong way to think. I love Borderlands. I totally love Borderlands. It's probably my favorite game ever. But I don't like Randy Pitchford. In fact, I don't think he's actually helping Borderlands be developed at this point. I think he's probably playing with the company's money in some different ways, and it wouldn't be surprised if he somehow finds a way to run Gearbox into the ground and we see Borderlands 3 made by a completely different company that absorbs them, which that could be really bad if you start to think of, like, what would Ubisoft or Electronic Arts do with Borderlands, like microtransactions and all kinds of garbage like that. Moving on with game news, Ys 8 localization fix and PC version have been delayed to early 2018. So basically it's not going to meet its previously and set November release date for Ys 8. Surprise, surprise, a Japanese company can't meet its announced date. Well, you can get it right now for PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. It's just that the patch, I suppose, and are delayed, and the PC version in total is delayed. Now, we don't want to see a trend here of Japanese companies in particular promising PC versions of games and then delaying them and never getting them out and them being bad. That's kind of what we get half the time anyways, but I don't want that to be the new a growing trend. I want that to be a dying trend. I want day and date PC versions that actually work and run and look good. So YouTube Kids topped 1.5 billion viewers per month. I think is what I just read. I follow the CEO of YouTube because I'm a YouTuber, and they revamped their YouTube Kids app so it looks a little bit better, and now it has profiles, which is going to be helpful because then that allows you to have multiple kids on the YouTube app. It's kind of ridiculous that that wasn't the case before. Come to think of it, like, that really doesn't make any sense at all. I've got to play more. Well, I'm gonna lose. Assassin's Creed Origins 1.03 update helps NVIDIA owners. So it improves performances for NVIDIA owners and does nothing for AMD owners, which is just more of a reason to never buy an AMD video card. I mean, I wish there was a way to have some competition there, but NVIDIA literally just pays in different ways to ensure games run better on their graphics card. And it's not, I don't think, a case that NVIDIA is literally bribing video game companies to make it run worse on AMD.
Well played.
I think what they're doing is more roundabout. They are sending engineers into the offices of video game developers. They are training the programmers to program better. They are adding patches to their own video drivers to support. They are working closely and spending money so the games work better with their video cards. And I just don't think AMD has the money or wants to spend the money to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA also sends like different types of video cards and top-of-line video cards to major video game developers. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if every single developer has like a Titan X Ti graphics card in their workstations, just courtesy of NVIDIA. NVIDIA certainly seems to be willing to do that to reviewers, although I think AMD is also pretty willing to send review cards, or at least lend them out to reviewers. Moving on to the next story, PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, has delayed vaulting and climbing on test servers. Apparently it's updating. So those new features have been delayed because of an unexpected issue, which it's kind of interesting because PUBG is, in my mind, and from what I'm hearing from other reviewers, now that other games have come out, it's starting to lose its fan base. I mean, it certainly will continue to have its fan base and have a lot of players, particularly in China, for a while, but there's going to be a lot less talk, I think, about them going forward. And it might get little bumps every now and then, but I don't think it's ever going to have as much popularity as it did when it first came out. And again, it's just one of those early access games that you're going to trickle out the updates. Think about the Conan game, the Conan Exiles, is it? Like, that was an interesting looking game at the beginning, but now it's kind of not. Oh, I don't want to kill this, but whenever my opponent draws a card, let's see, what can I do? This, and then this, and then I can do that, and that, and that. Microsoft joins OpenXR, VR, and augmented reality standardization projects. That'll be kind of nice if everybody got on board with an open VR standardization idea. Just do that instead. But then again, that might not really mean anything. So, apparently Google, Oculus, Unity, and Valve, and several other members are parts of the group for a royalty-free standard for VR and AR platforms and devices. Such a project aims to identify and simplify the development process, allowing developers to create apps and games. Like, nice that they're doing this, kind of a little too late. They should have done that before the first VR game was ever even in development. These should have been like backroom talks that when Unity and Oculus and Vive all came out with their units.
The Brotherhood Shell Cafe.
Quickly.
Let's see, what can we do? We can do this. Oh man, I played that out of water.
Come, midnight.
Like I could have played something else. So there's a game called the Norwood Suite, which is made by Cosmo D, who I've never heard of. That's a Twin Peaks inspired adventure game, and it has a free demo. The question is this coming to Steam, or is this an itch.io type game? Yeah, it is on Steam. Let's look at the trailer and see if this actually is something that might interest me. Video game developers and people in general have gotten very obsessed about like Twin Peaks, and I don't know if there's really a valid reason for it.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Let's see, it seems like it's a 3D game, but it also seems like it's one of these rougher 3D games that doesn't have that polish that you would like. Alright, so I want to do this, and then this, and then this. Killed this one. Killed this one. Killed this one. kill this one. And
Give that minion a turn to get ready.
so now either this one's going to do 7 damage to him,
Well played.
or not. I don't know. I don't know about this game, Norwood Suite. It's on sale now for $8. It's rated positive.
Amazing.
It looks more like a game I would buy as a goof than a game I would buy as to actually play. But here we have another job listing, so this is my new segment. My new, as in new idea to cover job listings. So Crystal Dynamics is looking for a creative director, which does not bode well for, like, I believe the Tomb Raider series, because isn't that what Crystal Dynamics made? Crystal Dynamics is looking for a talented and passionate creative director for a new AAA action adventure title we are developing. The individual will be responsible for overseeing decisions that affect the gameplay's looks and sounds. So it seems like it is a new property if you can change how it looks, but that might be an oversimplification. We would like to find a person who has experience in providing creative direction for world-class titles. The focus of the creative director will be to ensure the highest quality of gameplay, artwork, music, and audio assets, and will be in the final shipped version of the game. We expect the creative director to lead overall vision of the game. So, like, this effectively is the highest, or one of the highest tier of positions you can have in video game development before you get pushed into being a manager and not really having any power to actually affect a video game.
Come midnight.
Let's see, I probably should have held on to the acid maw. Responsibilities: provide overall direction of a game, art, music, and design. You'll probably see at such a high level that these responsibilities and requirements are not as specific as you would see on lower quality game, lower levels. Let's just kill. Let's do this. And kill this. Let's see. Partner closely with all department leads, ensuring milestones are achieved on time within budget. Provide an inspiration to the team, ensure that the creative vision is accepted and embraced. So basically, make sure that everybody's on board. Help the team overcome obstacles and provide solid leadership. It's very generalized responsibilities, but I mean, a position like that, you kind of do have to do everything. A strong passion and commitment to developing world-class AAA titles. Requirements: experience in creative design role previously for a highly rated next-gen game. So literally, we don't want anybody new. Leadership experience in guiding teams from all disciplines. Solid understanding of the financial and management aspects of game development. Previous background in leadership in design or art. Strong understanding of the competitive landscape. And a passion for playing and developing games. Leadership position in previous shipped AAA titles 3 to 5 preferred. So they want somebody who is already developed 3 to 5 other AAA games. I mean, that is a big ask. Go ahead and kill this. This feels like a job listing specifically made for somebody, and you know who it might be made for? The person who was in charge of making that Star Wars game that just got canceled for EA. Amy Hennig, I think is her name. I talked about her earlier today even. Like, this seems kind of like a tailor-made job listing for that. The only real thing I want to do here is just double check Crystal Dynamics is the company I think it is. Projects, Crystal Dynamics. Yeah, it's Tomb Raider games. So Crystal Dynamics wants to do something new that may not be a Tomb Raider game. And, you know, Amy Hennig, coming from doing the Uncharted series, she is 100% the person to hire. If her hand added anything good to the Uncharted series, it will probably add something good to the Tomb Raider company and the Tomb Raider series. Even if they let her make her a different game first, you could almost guarantee if she stays there long enough, she would make a Tomb Raider game. Mario Odyssey is now the fastest selling Mario game in history, and I think slightly deservedly so. The only weird thing I would say about Mario Odyssey is it's kind of a weirder game than even your average Mario game, and so there is this chance that Nintendo developers might get the wrong message in their success and end up making Mario games even weirder going forward, and that might get tiresome. Deadly Premonition is now backwards compatible with the Xbox One, so all those Twin Peaks fans can play Deadly Premonition, which is heavily influenced by Twin Peaks, now on their Xbox One. It didn't look good when it originally came out. It's not going to look good much better on the Xbox One. Apparently, Team Rocket have been missing from Pokemon games because they are returning. They're coming back in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, plus every mob boss and legendary Pokemon for the past 20 years. Which, okay, that makes some good sense, because I was just wondering, like, how do you get kids into Pokemon these days? Do you really have to pull out a black and white Game Boy and have the kids play Pokemon Red and Blue and Pokemon Yellow, or at least one of those 3 games, just to get that first game experience or something close to that first generation experience? And I would kind of prefer not to have to do that. Next article we have here is Hand of Fate 2 improves on the original deck building and Arkham style brawling. I think I may have already read this article. It is exactly what I had heard, though, is that now there's better deck building elements and better fighting elements. Hand of Fate is coming to Steam November 7th, but personally I don't really have a great reason to want to play it when it first comes out. It is again one of those games that isn't probably worth buying at the full price. One of the Assassin's Creed Origins patches adds even more photo mode effects, which like yay, but I would kind of prefer that they
You asked for it.
Let the hunt begin.
fix the bugs in the game. I guess this patch also did have 100 other fixes in it, but like it seems like a odd thing to focus on features in patching your game. I would say you should, while not just me, in general, development ideology says once you've come out of beta, you're feature locked and you don't add any more features. And video games in particular have gotten away from that. Like, alpha is when you test new features. That's what alpha means. That's what, regardless of what the video game industry tries to tell you. And beta is when you add no more features, but you test the current features to make sure that they will run smoothly and remove bugs. And maybe even in your beta you remove some features. Adding more things to DLC and such, adding more features makes you then go into a version 2.0 alpha again. And that usually should be done behind the scenes. This isn't gonna work at all. Let's see. Let's see if this actually causes me to draw a card. Oh, it does. Interesting. Let's see. A lot of these articles are articles I already talked about. There's a video out there I'm gonna watch later where people break out of balance in Silent Hill 2 and just wander around and look, I assume, at everything that you can't see. Alright, Stampede. This. And that's kind of all I can do. And just keep attacking. The game Bubsy the Woolly Strike Back came out, and Giant Bomb hated it. Let's see what this review from Your Gamer gave it, if it gave it any kind of it. Well, here's the final paragraph here. Does Bubsy have fans? Certainly, I can imagine people with fond memory of Bubsies from the old days, but I suspect they're going to be the most disappointed in this latest adventure. So yeah, it seems pretty consistent that nobody is liking Bubsy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and from what I saw, Bubsy apparently is very short. It's full of a ridiculous amount of collectibles. Like here, there's like 700 pieces of wool yarn you're supposed to collect in one level, according to the screenshot I'm looking at.
I'm ready to learn.
Like, Bubsy has never really been great, and it's like 4th, 5th, or 6th tier quality games, and it probably should just die. Here's a weird blackmail story. I mean, you really can't call it other than emotional blackmail of the audience and fan base, but the Surgeon Simulator studio has said that their game Deck Splash needs 100,000 people to play it this weekend or it's cancelled. And boy, does that not set well with me. Like, that just seems completely emotionally manipulative and ridiculous. It seems like the number is probably way too high to begin with. And anytime you have a company that gives you this goal, they're gonna cancel it anyway, so you might as well just rephrase this whole thing and say Deck Splash has been canceled. Which kind of sucks because Deck Splash is like a skating game, but there's no people in it. So it's just... So it's just the skating, skateboard, grinding and sliding, and it actually looks pretty good as a concept. But now they're gonna cancel it probably because it never really had any chance at all of making the amount. Deck Splash also has this Splatoon element to it, where it paints the area where you do splashings, and apparently it has loot boxes in it too. Maybe it's through microtransactions, or maybe it's just through in-game. I think the problem here is they made a multiplayer game, and that's what this article is saying. Is we need people playing online. So, like, maybe it is better that this game just gets canceled because they need to take it and make it a single player game. Put some AI bots in it. But the way they're phrasing this is so abrasive and so rude. I don't want to support this company. I'm not gonna go install Deck Splash. They basically told me that it's already canceled and nothing you do is gonna get it uncanceled, because even if you meet this 100,000 players this week, they're just gonna come out with another demand in 6 weeks saying we need another 200,000 players to show up, or we're going to cancel it. Once you start taking hostages, you're not really trustworthy. And that's effectively what they've done, is they've taken the game as a hostage. You're the bad guy. Moving on, Octodad is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, the LA Noire game takes more space if you get the download version than what you have on a Switch. So you have to have an SD card. And so you would think, okay, well, to avoid that, I'll buy the physical version of the game, and that'll just get me around that issue. Not true. If you buy the physical version, you need a 14 gigabyte update, which would fill, I think, on a Switch by itself. So I don't think you'll need the memory card at that point, but you will still very much be using and downloading a ridiculous amount of space, all because the Switch doesn't have enough storage in it, and it doesn't come with any expanded storage. I think since we're already at this point, it's very possible we will see a Switch version 1.2 with more space built in. I think we'll probably see something like that pretty quickly. Let's see. Might be some other news I had missed. The rhythm game Voez, V-O-E-Z, is getting 14 new songs in its free 1.3 update. It's a Stellar Switch rhythm game, I think Stellar Switch being the name of the company. No, it's actually a Switch game. Man, that was phrased awkwardly. But this was that weird one that I don't even know if it's come out in the West or not. It's a weird music game for the Switch. Let's watch the trailer just to refresh my head. Like, I think there's a lot of tapping going on because there's a lot of stuff happening here. Way too much. This doesn't look like a game you could play with a controller. And the lanes where the music is coming downward are changing a lot. Apparently it is available worldwide because this is being mentioned in pounds when it's a Eurogamer article. Maybe it just didn't come to the Americas or the United States. The Xbox One came out. There's really not too much you can say about the Xbox One so far. Like, I think some updates and patches are gonna come out to show some more features and new things, but generally you can just say it's an improved version of the Xbox One. The Xbox One X is, and therefore there's not too much else that you really have to worry about. StarCraft 2 is launching a free version this month, so yay. I think there's some caveats on the free version in the fact that it's not the remastered version with HD graphics, but yeah, it has some microtransactions in it, so the free version is not really the free version. It's like $15 if you want the other two campaigns, but it's kind of like a demo version. Whatever. There we go, we got a victory. And I managed to do it again. And I guess this is fine because I am working towards stretching out what gets aired. I'm trying to get a year ahead. Let's open some card packs. I have card packs sitting around everywhere. So I'm trying to get a year ahead with my pre-recorded footage. So because of that fact, getting more ahead with the Hearthstone stuff doesn't really bother me too much. At a certain point, maybe I make the episodes go from 45 minutes to an hour, if I can have any kind of level of consistency here. I still need 2 more Tavern Brawls, and there's really no reason to skip over to the European server until we get that done. The European server has a little less gold than what the European server has a little more gold than what the Asian server has, and I'm just kind of, but I also have more fans on the European server too, so clearly the main priority is the American server, then the European server, and then way at the bottom is the Asian server. That's gonna be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.